Hi everybody and welcome to my basement. That's where I keep this wooden dummy. It's a homemade wooden dummy that was gifted to me by one of my students. Pretty awesome. Thanks, Ryan. Now, some people have asked about some of the details about this particular dummy and I'm going to share those with you, show you a couple of moves on it, my pros and cons to this particular dummy, and a little story of why it's got this design. First up, everybody should notice that the leg is fixed. That's right, I broke it before, but it's fixed. Come to find out, it's just I knocked a screw loose. Okay, as you can see, it's got a T-bar back here. It's got a bracket on it. I just screwed it into the wall, had to bore those out. There's a supporting board on the other side of this wall. And then it says a 4x4, just the post here. He's got a foot pad on it here. There's a hole drilled in here, and then screws are holding a spring in. And then it's just PVC that comes out, and it's fit in here pretty cleverly. And this is the screw that came out. So I kicked it a little bit too hard, and it literally popped that out, and I was able to come back in and put that screw in, and I might do a little bit more stabilization to this. But one of the things I really do like about this is you get this good feel in this leg, so you can really come in here, and it's got some mobility to it. So if you're thinking about traveling with somebody, you can get some aliveness that might be a leg to have to come into. So this arm is spring loaded, and I like that because it sticks in the way. Now, the reason it's in this center post is because my teacher, Jerry Poteet, was telling me this story about when he was training at Bruce's house with a couple of the other students. And he said, I had this clunker of a car and drove up, and I was kind of fiddling with it early before class one day. And Bruce saw him and called him in, and they had a great conversation, and we're talking about martial arts and philosophy. And he said, after that, I showed up early every time. And he said, you know, some days Bruce was waiting for him and come on in. Some days he'd peek out and see Jerry waiting, and then he'd close the window and continue on. They had a lot of really great conversations around the breakfast table. And one day, Bruce was waiting for him at the door, ready, eager, like a kid ready to share something. And he was wanting to share something. He'd just gotten his own wooden dummy shipped in, I think, from Hong Kong. But he was really excited and wanted to show it to somebody, and Jerry was there, and he showed it to him. And what he had done is the traditional Wing Chun one has the two arms sticking out there. What Bruce had taken is flipped it upside down so that the leg, usually there's a leg piece right here, was up at the top and it stuck one of the arms, so it had a single arm coming out. And that was the inspiration behind this particular design of having a single leg here and a single arm there, so that it's like a puncher coming at you. Now, it's got the bend in there because it's a bend like your arm. And it's spring loaded, which means it gets in the way all the freaking time. So you hit it and it moves, but then if you flip, I'm gonna move my head out of the way, it'll come back and crack you in the head. So there's a real thing in it, but you can pop in here and then come here, but it's gonna spring back. So if you're just sitting here and you do that, it'll actually crack you. So there is some aliveness that comes in there, and I really like that. It has the same thing in the leg, same robustness, but I think being attached to the ground, being attached here and having the articulating point in that knee kind of messes it up. And yeah, it broke again.